Welcome to Matrix Live Season 2, Episode 3. And here we are. You see beautiful world behind us. And we've moved.
We have, as of like an hour or two ago.
No, an hour, yeah, maximum.
In fact, it turns out that we only actually exchanged on the new office to actually legally be here in the last half an hour or so. And so it's kind of just as well that that's done and we've moved in. How should we do this? I guess, first of all, quickly talk about funding. We can't talk about funding. It's really annoying, a bit embarrassing. We're still waiting for the guys who've given us money to give us a green light to talk about funding. So please look at some distraction thing. However, huge thanks, as always, to everybody who's donating to support Matrix itself. We are setting up the Matrix.org Foundation because even though the funding comes in to support New Vector, Matrix itself still needs its own safety net and source of funding in order to do pure Matrixy things. So your money is very much going to useful purpose there, especially to actually pay to set up the foundation independently of New Vector. So thank you for that. Now the exciting thing is, as you can see, we've got all of our crates here. And if we go into another trying to stand up thing. You okay down there? So basically we have the entire contents of our stuff there in the corner, just literally have been deposited by some nice people. And then we go down to the other side of the room. We've even got poor unfortunate matrixes going and squatting on combinations of beanbags. Tom, why aren't you on the chair?
That's your chair.
I know it's my chair. It looks a bit like the Mastermind chair for anybody who ever watched BBC in the 1980s. But no, you could have used it.
My lap is more effective in this position.
And we've got Luke hiding down here. Everybody else is down the pub or not here or otherwise out of the loop. Anyway, so there we go. It's all happening. Oh, we've got a kitchen, which is really exciting too. There we go. There's the kitchen. Should we talk about actually what's been going on rather than new offices?
No problem. So I guess if we start with Synapse, maybe you have better view than me.
Yep, probably makes sense. And nobody in the Synapse, I'm going to just keep moving this to force you to keep moving. This is really amusing.
And then everyone will stop because you're giving them sickness.
You ever do this actually back in the day? When because we started doing video calling originally, we discovered a wonderful trick that before we had rotation sensors on the phones, if you're on a video call with somebody and you start rotating the camera absent-mindedly like that or like that, as you keep deciding to change it, you can basically keep forcing the other person to constantly change it. Going round and round, which is a really annoying and really amusing thing to do to people. But then we implemented the orientation detector, and it all compensated, so the other person didn't have to rotate their phone. Anyway, Synapse. Basically, lots and lots of work on Synapse this week. Remedial stuff after last week's meltdowns. This has taken the form of all new media repository codes, which is fixing the fact that we were about to run out of disk space. It's now very modular, and we support saving things to Amazon S3 if you want to support Amazon. Or if you don't, then it supports some arbitrary backends, so you can have old stuff getting archived off to whatever file system you damn well like. Also, lots of work on new metrics to help us debug future meltdowns, which are honestly really exciting. We can suddenly have visibility on all sorts of horrors in the depths of Synapse, which previously we were blind to. And if we'd seen back in the meltdown last Christmas, would have made my life a lot easier when we were looking at it. So this is exciting. And finally, we've been making progress on splitting the sender path off into different multiple workers and started to work on fundamentally speeding up state resolution. So this is the vast majority of the slowness in the CPU and the RAM bloat in Synapse. And folks were looking at it yesterday and spotted some of the stupid bugs which cause it to explode. And hopefully we might have some fairly big wins there, which would be nice. Meanwhile, absolutely nothing's happened on Dendrite because everybody's been working on Synapse. Right.
So on Riot Web, all the device tracking stuff is still being moved to indexeddb.
In fact, Dave, tell us about tell us about indexeddb. Your opportunity to
moving to indexeddb is surprisingly more complicated than it sounds, especially device tracking, which is quite complicated because it was already had a load of logic to prevent you from writing to the thing from a different place and make sure it was always synchronized and always up to date. But it was in local storage, so the two tabs could fight with each other. So I've been fixing the other half of it, so that never fights and you never end up with devices in the wrong state.
Cool. Fun. When do you reckon it's going to land?
Hopefully, like, soon. That's all reviewed, and so I just need to do the last, fix the things that Rich told me to fix, and then do the last annoying bit of moving to indexeddb, which is storing what rooms are encrypted.
Cool. I should warn everybody the riot.im/develop may be a little bit stale right now, unless you've had an epiphany in the last few minutes, because currently our build server is in one of these boxes over there. However, Dave is shifting over to one in the data center, so hopefully we'll get that sometime soon.
Yeah. Otherwise, massive improvements to the room panel thanks to Mr. Luke.
Luke, tell us about your room panel. In fact, can we? This is really annoy you by asking if we can do a live demo of the TagPanel. Oh, look at it! This is awesome.
My favourites.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll go and individually blur each and every one out afterwards. So let's show. So that's the room panel doing its thing with nice, pretty drop and drag, complete with. Or do you just look your access token too?
Yeah. I'll have to log in.
Okay, you might need to do that. And what about the left panel itself? So again, we've got beautiful animated drop and drag going on here, which is very, very pretty indeed. And can we actually drop between them yet? This is where this is all leading to.
No, not yet.
Okay, well, so the next thing is going to be to allow you to define things, like that, and it'll be beautiful. And we'll have multiple, targets appear on the tag panel to go and drop the rooms into them to help define groups. And I think that might be the sexiest left panel of any chat application ever made. So that's what's happening on Riot Web, and we've also been working through PRs all over the place. Still, thanks Dave for continuing to try to shift the PR backlog there. If there are any PRs which anybody feels particularly upset about us not handling, then please let us know.
On the mobile side, iOS, the community's work is continuing. Otherwise, Android is mostly been stuck on consulting work for some new vector customer.
And on the widget side of things?
Still working a lot on the sticker packs and refining the overall setup, but it's progressing well.
Yeah, it's a bit of drama from Halfshot, who noticed the other day that we'd created a new event type for stickers, and we haven't spec'd it yet, and I'm sorry, yeah, we're a bit crap, and we'll go and do a proper Google Doc proposal ASAP so people can comment on it. The reason it has its own event type, though, is quite deliberate, because in future we, or at least I, and hopefully everybody else eventually will agree, that different types of events should have different event types. And they might still be visible in your timeline, but still stickers should have different types to images because they're conceptually completely different things. And so we're experimenting with this using stickers as a guinea pig. If you have strong thoughts about this, as I'm sure many people do, because it's a lovely bike sheddy thing that everybody can weigh in on, then there is a GitHub issue tracking room stickers on the React SDK, I think. That's probably about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully next week we will actually have been able to talk about the funding. And until then, thank you again for flying Matrix. And God, it's nice to be in a new office and have our independence, and hopefully have some runway to go and fix all of the worst bits of Matrix as quickly as possible, so that we can basically catch up with everybody else.
Indeed.
Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.